must be exterminated, either by destroying the brain or severing the brain from the rest of the body.
Hey, there's a lot of people up here.
Yeah, that question is...
Money. I think it was one of the few things that at that time George could get financing on. Also, they didn't own the copyright on the original Night of the Living Dead. Am I right, Russ? And that part of the remake was to try to get that copyright back?
Well, we've always owned the copyright. There is a flaw to the copyright, which is where the whole public domain issue comes from. But one of the things that motivated doing the remake was to shore up the copyright issue and money.
Well, because they were robbed from the original film. The movie made a lot of money, but these guys didn't see any of it, or hardly any of it, as far as I have been told. Were you raising your hand? Okay. Yes.
This is for Howard Sherman. How do you feel about character Bob? Essentially, kind of has a story to him, but you never really get to see his name.
Well, I think it's crying out for a sequel. Or a prequel. Or both. Yeah. Who was Bub? I always thought Bub was maybe a defrocked priest who then became a biker. And then became like a
black venom.
Yeah, right. A beat poet, something like that. With serious substance abuse problems.
Maybe he was a cop.
Yeah. All of the above.
He sure remembered how to shoot a gun.
Yeah, he moved around a lot. What was the question?
The question was, So I have a question which I'm going to open up to everybody here. So obviously, since I do special effects makeup, the advances in makeup from Night of the Living Dead onward have changed considerably. In Night of the Living Dead, you can see the fact that it was out of the kit makeup. There wasn't a lot of prosthetic pieces. Even when we did Dawn of the Dead with Sharon and Clay, sort of the blue makeup with a little bit of foam latex, and then with Howard's performance in Day of the Dead, we had full face foam latex pieces. And then we got into Land of the Dead, and we started getting the dentures, and we started getting the contact lenses. And from an actor's standpoint, I mean, aside from creating them, I've been a zombie because I love being a zombie as well. But it definitely does something to your performance, and I think that'd be something that I'd be interested to hear what these guys have to say about it, because of the fact that you're literally immobilized in glue and in contacts and dentures and stuff. So I think that's something that would be part of the whole character.
Yeah. One of the things, I remember the very first time I was in the makeup, after sitting in the chair in the beginning, probably 3.5 hours, and I got up and I stood in front of a mirror. And it was just amazing because the stuff behaved just like flesh. When I moved my face around and I watched what it did, there's an odd kind of metamorphosis that actors go through when they take on the attributes of the character that they're playing. And when you're playing a character but not wearing a mask, the metamorphosis is sort of inside. You sort of feel like you're wearing another person's body inside this creature or this character that you've imagined. But that was the first time I ever experienced it, like, in physical reality, because it seemed like my own skin, and it acted like my own skin, and it was really cool.
Well, that's something. As an actor, you're not often asked to play someone who a body that was dead and something is taking over to making it move again. So as an actor, you're trying to think of how to be that. Did the makeup make that easier when you looked at yourself and saw a dead thing,
Completely. I mean, I spent a lot of time imagining, okay, so I'm dead. My flesh is dead, but it still moves. How to create a quality of movement. I figure balance was probably an issue, and sort of there was a bit of bobbling, and sort of like not very good eye-hand coordination like you see in an infant. They haven't really figured out how all this equipment works yet. And but as soon as the makeup was on, it was like it all just came together.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really just kind of as soon as I had the makeup on, I never really wanted to take it off.
That kind of process, opposed to Johnny. When Johnny came back as a zombie, there was very little that happened to Johnny because of the process from the time he hit his head on the tombstone to the time where he comes back in the farmhouse door was a matter of maybe 10 hours, something like that. So Johnny didn't have the advantage of makeup, but what I decided to do with the Johnny character is that if you'll notice in the film, his stare is absolutely focused and blank. So that was my way around, not having a lot to work with. But the instant that you see that driving glove hand come up on the frame of the door, Barbara's about ready to buy the ranch.
And I just have to say, too, that to me, one of the first things that gave me nightmares was that shot in the movie. Because when I first saw Night of the Living Dead, they played it on television uncut in Pittsburgh. George was on with Bill Cardell.
How old were you?
9 or 10. No, it was I think it was before Dawn of the Dead. So, what terrified me was the close-up of Barbara with the hand sort of coming in and grabbing, and he pulls her towards him. And you're right, there was no life in his face, and he turns around and she disappears into a sea of zombies, and I had nightmares for weeks about what happened to her after she got pulled out, which still, to this day, when we watched the movie the other night, that shot of you, the door opening and the realization on her face that it's you, it's so frightening because you know that she sees the connection and he doesn't, and he grabs her and pulls her out, and it just completely freaks me out.
Well, I'll say
completely.
that you were saying, I'm coming to get you, Barbara, and there you were coming to get Barbara. The irony of it all.
When I was playing a zombie, I don't know how many of you know that the last...
But you were really dead.
Yeah, the opening scene was the last scene shot. And George gave me a call and said, you really look good as a zombie. You want to do this graveyard zombie? I said, yeah, okay, I'll do it. I went to the house, picked up my suit, and was a little late getting to the graveyard. And Jack almost took my part, but anyway.
Well, what, you mean you shot? Because I saw you in lots of scenes in the movie as a zombie. So you did all that stuff first. And then George said, you come and be the first zombie.
Yeah, the irony was the cemetery scene was the very first day of filming, very first scene, and the very last one, because we didn't get finished in one day. So I showed up at the set, of course, and throughout the film, George was giving us directions that we had strength in numbers. Other than that, we were pretty well. Yeah, because you could scoot and get away from us. I got to the cemetery, and we did the scene where I'm walking across, and then I run into Barbara. She actually runs into me, and Johnny comes to her rescue. And George says, okay, you got to kill Johnny. And I said, George, how am I supposed to do that? I'm not supposed to have any strength, And he thought about that for a while, and he said, F it, just kill him. And then, of course, as we wrestled around, he would say, you guys need to make some noise. We were actually recording sound at the time. Yeah, was it? Recording sound? So we made some noise, and then Russell kicked me in the groin, and I really made some noise. Now, first of all, I'm not an actor. I'm a camera person. Okay. And it was a little hard for me to get into that character, but once I knew I had strength, it wasn't that hard anymore. And with a little direction from George saying, do this, do that, and allowing me to break a window, and then, as you remember, I was running after her pretty darn well. Little shuffle run, but it was still, Yeah. And you got to remember, the thing that's always in the zombie's mind is, I don't get tired. You do. You're going to get tired and slow down. I'm going to get you. So always keep that in mind. George has bumper stickers that say fast zombies suck.
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.